Okay, let's pray. Dear God, we thank you that we come again to study your words. Give us the understanding, the wisdom for your words. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, let me go ahead with chapter 16. Revelation chapter 16. Now, the angel, let's see. The seventh angel, I heard the voice that tell the angel, go out, pour out the bowl of wrath of God on the earth. Mean that John go back to the heaven and heard that God will send all the suffering to the world. And they use the words that this is the wrath, this is what God intend to punish everyone in this world who not belong to him. And you remember that before this chapter, God told the angel that don't hurt the one who have the sign of God on them. And you remember that Satan put the sign on the forehead and the right hand of everyone who worships Satan. But in the same time, God told angel that put the sign on the selected one, that God going to protect them. So everyone have a sign, either God's sign or Satan's sign on them. And Satan put the sign on his peoples, the one who worship him. So they can have job, they can buy food, and they can go travel everywhere. But Christians have the sign of God on them. Christian cannot work in this world, cannot buy food, cannot have friends. But Christians still keep their faith and meet underground and try to survive in this world. But a lot of Christians going to be killed for the name of Jesus in this world. And now you compare that the rest, the suffering that God will send to this world compared to the time of Moses, when God sent the plague to torment Pharaoh and the Egyptian. It's similar. When you look at the Exodus that God sent to them to torture them. And we talk about everything that happened in that time will remind them about the power of God. You know that Satan promised them a lot of things, that Satan going to give them job, give them happiness, give them food, but in reality, they don't get everything. And some people say, well, they have no hope. They don't have choice. They still have choice. If they choose to obey God and Jesus, they still can do it. But they have to pay the price. And what kind of suffering we see that a full and loathsome soul came up on the men who have the mark of the beast. Now you see that all the torture come to the one who have the mark of the beast on them. I don't know what kind of disease or what kind of suffering they can find which one, and not on the one who have the mark of God. It's like today, if you have vaccine of certain thing, you cannot get sick of some certain sickness or virus. But if you don't have a certain vaccine, you can get sick of that virus or something of bacteria. So it's the miracle, the way that how the suffering or the disease go to some person, not to everyone. And now the second angel will put all the curse on the ocean, and it become blood, and the blood of dead men. So it doesn't smell good. And everything, every fish in the ocean will die. This is a serious thing, because we get most of the food maybe more than half of the food that man consume come from the ocean. And now everything die. What we got to eat? And it's not just food. It's everything to survive come from the ocean too. Now the third angel pour all the bowl in the river spring. Now you see that similar when God make all the water in Egypt into blood. Nobody can drink anything. And this is the ocean. And now all the river, all the spring, all the lake will turn to blood too. And now what can we survive when we don't have water? Well, in the time of Egyptian, they dig well beside the river or somewhere so they can get some water. So this might be the way the people are going to survive too. They need to dig well. And they get some water that is not blood because just the ocean or the river or the lake turn into blood. So maybe God give them some time that get some water to survive. And the angel told that some of the righteous, they have shed the blood of the saint. Now this is the blood that come back to them. They need to drink that blood that they kill a lot of Christians or the one who believe in Jesus. Now, the fourth angel will go to the sun, and what it will happen? And the sun will, you see that in that some other situation, the sun go dark, but here the sun goes stronger. Now, what the difference? When the sun go dark, a lot of things die because all the plant or the people need the sun to synthesize to make green leaf. Without the sun, all the plant die. But here the sun going to be hotter than normal 2-3 times. Now, like today, we suffer. The sun go too hot, the weather go too hot all over the world, and a lot of things die. And in that time, the sun will go double hot. Like normally we have 70 or 80, but nowadays a lot of places have more than 100 now. And if it's more than 150, nothing can survive. Everything outside will burn, light away. So this is the thing that will happen in the future. The sun will go double hot. And everywhere in the world will have more than 100 degrees, 120, 150. And nothing can survive under 150. But the Bible says that a lot of them still not repent, not come back to God. They just complain, they just curse God. And the question is, why don't they tell Satan to help them? Well, Satan don't have power over the sun. They cannot help them. And after that, the whole world go dark. Now it's serious. When the sun is double hot, it burns everything. And when it burns everything, all the smoke go up. And then it go dark. So it gets back and forth between darkness and too hot. Now the sixth angel will pour another wrath of God on all the big river in the world. And now it go dry. And this is serious. This is fresh water. People need this fresh water to drink and for agriculture. When all the fresh water in the world go dry, now we have serious problem. No water to drink, no water to plant any food, and all the animal will die too. But it's like the time of Egyptian. Or the demon will perform, show all the sign that they can do it too. God can do all these things, they can do it. To let the people know that I can do like God, but how they help people. They don't help people. They just show that they can imitate God, they can make the darkness, they can make blood by all their magic power. But how they save the people dying off. And now this will have a lot of big river like the Nile, the Yangtze, the Mekong River. And people depend on those water, not just for traveling, but for agriculture, for water to drink, to make pure water. But when all these things go dry, it's this serious thing. And just the rich who can dig well, they can survive for a while. But the poor will have no choice where they get the water to survive. And here the angel will proclaim again, I am coming as a thief. Blessed is the one who watch and keep his garment, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. So it means that God will save the one who obey God. But now this is the time. You see that the one who believe in God or the believer are suffer for many years already. And now this is the time change. The one who believe in God will get help from the angel, but the one who worship Satan will suffer now. It takes turn. And this is a big, big suffering all over the world. The one who worship Satan now will have no food, no water, no sunshine. And a lot more disaster will happen to them. Now, the Bible says that in the end time, after all this suffering, Satan will collect all the soldiers, their soldiers from all over the world to Israel to fight. They know that a lot of Jews who go underground still believe in Jesus, and a lot of Christians there. So Satan will take all the army, well, we get from China, from India, from Russia, go to Israel to make a big war, to kill all the believers that are still hiding in Israel and everywhere in all the Jews who believe in Jesus. So we call this war, this spread Armageddon. Armageddon. It's just a city in Israel today that that the last war will be fight over there. And how many soldiers? Well, they say that Satan will take maybe 500 million soldiers from everywhere. Somebody say that maybe more. So 500 million soldiers at least will come to fight that war. And that is a big valley that all soldiers will be killed over there. So you see that Christians don't have the power to fight them, but God will send all his angels down to fight all those soldiers. And now the seventh angel will pour another bowl into the air. Is it done? The noise, the thundering, everything will come from the sky, an earthquake, big, big earthquake that never happened in the world, will happen in Israel and all over the world. And again, the great city will divide in three parts. The big Babylon, and all the hell from heaven, everything will come down. And a lot of people will die. You see that this is the way they're going to die, not by any weapon, but by earthquake or the disaster that God will send to the world, big earthquake, and all the hail or the storm that we're going to come down. Some theologians believe that might be some kind of bomb, nuclear bomb, or some kind of thing that they're going to use to kill a lot of soldiers here. But we don't know exactly, but this is something that God sent to fight all the army of Satan in that last war. So this is the last war that Satan will fight with God and his believer. But you see that the believer that believe Jesus in this time don't have weapon to fight. The army of angels will come to protect them and fight for them. While Satan will have all the weapon, all the power from all the soldiers in this world. Satan think that he might win the war, but in fact, nobody can fight the army of God or the angel that come to protect the believer. And we believe that the last war here will happen in Israel, somewhere in Israel. Okay, I will stop this chapter and come to you for your reflection and question. That the last war will be big, and at least 500 million soldiers will die in that war. Do you know that in World War II, how many soldiers were killed or people killed? Well, we believe that it's up to 50 million. The Jew alone is allowed 6 million Jew, and the Russian is allowed 10 million. The Germany maybe 5 million, and other part of Europe maybe a few million. So in World War II, maybe they guess that maybe 50 million to up to 80 million people were killed. But in the final war, we talk about 10, 20 times more than that, mean that 500 million to 800 million soldiers will be killed. That's a lot of people. They say the blood is poured out at high at the horse. Well, it's just guessing like the blood in that valley that pour out may be at high at your waist. Well, some people, scholars say that it's not mean about blood, it means about the body pile up so high. A lot of people will die, and the body pile up on top of one another so high, several feet high. So the question is why they have to fight? Why don't they make peace in the end? Because they know they cannot win. Why don't they give up?
Because this is the last day.
Yeah, they think they can win.
They try.
You know that the decision is not on man, it's on Satan. Man have no power to say no. It's just where they take side. They take side with God or Satan, and their boss decide for them. So this is serious, though. When you take God's side, you're going to win. When you take Satan's side, you're going to lose. and you will die and lose everything. Now, if you know that, why you take Satan's side? A lot of people say that people don't think too much. They just think about where they get job, where they get food, where they get easy thing. If they're going to take God's side in this world, they're going to suffer. That's why most people won't take God's side. They want an easy life. Well, you think it applies for today? A lot of people don't want God. They want the easy life. They can do anything they want. Why being a Christian in this time? Because you have to go to church to study Bible, cannot do a lot of things. Why people want to be Christian? Or you ask yourself why you decide to be a Christian. Is it worth it?
For I becoming Christian, I believe God chosen me to be His children.
I believe the same.
You suffer. You might find yourself at minority. Most of your family and friends decide not to choose Jesus. What is the reason?
For me, when I become a Christian, because that's the only way. On the last thing I become a Christian.
What that mean? Can you explain?
That means I have a difficult life, and I have no way to go, and that the only way is come to God. That's how I heard. Only God can help, and then I come to God. And sure, when I go to church and the first time, and I heard the preacher they preaching about Matthew chapter 6, and I heard that, and then about chapter 7, whatever we need, and we ask, and He will give. So first time I pray, and I say, wow, that's for real. That is not something what I heard. That's for real. So like, and I come, want to know God more and more and more and more until now. So I think God's calling me because He let me try everything and become dead end, and then I have no way. So the only way can help me, and I come to God.
Yeah, what God say is something that people still arguing. God chosen you or you chose God? Or both?
For me, is that God chosen me because nobody know my heart. God know better, and God know my heart, and me go the life.
So do we have anything to do with that? Or it's just our God decision to save us? Oh, we did not hear you, Chris.
I have the same experience as he does. Try to enjoy life in other way until come to the point that it is not happening. It's just temporarily. And then we think of like this, okay. If we want to think that like a cowboy, they're herding the cow, right? Let's say a cowboy, they're herding the cow, they put all kind of obstacle, the fence or whatever, to funnel the cow into the where it's supposed to go. And then if we ask the question, is it the cowboy that put all those things so the cow can go where it's supposed to go, or the cow chose to go where it's supposed to go? But the ultimate answer is the cowboy doing that, not because of the cow want to go where to supposed to go. In the same way, God put the circumstances around us to funnel us, to guide us in whatever way that must be done to funnel us into wherever we're supposed to be, I think.
Yeah, most theologians also believe that way, that we almost have no say. It's almost completely God providence. Without that, impossible. And Nathan, you have something to say?
Yes, buddy.
God, I think I believe that there's a big wedding feast. God opened the big door.
And you have anything to say no?
Yeah, we can say no, but doors big open. So it's okay. I want to go in. There's good food inside, so I go in. By the way, I think only Paul didn't didn't get to choose.
Yeah, I heard almost everyone say the same thing, that they come to this point because God chosen them, because God held them. So without God help, most of us will never come to this point.
So, Chan, do you think that we have the freedom to choose then?
I think our freedom is we just respond to say yes after God offer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it might be that mostly God initiate, God start, and it's just we who respond yes, and that's all. Yeah, Nathan.
What do you think when earlier I mentioned about Paul? I said Paul, he didn't get to choose.
Well, what Chris say, God make everything to that way. He just accept it or not. Paul will have very little choice to get bride or want to see. In his case, it's extreme. You want to be bride forever, or you want to see again? Yeah, Nathan.
I think Paul, he really loved God, but he just do a different way, the wrong way. That's why God clay put him, guide him straight where he should be, isn't it?
Yeah, He say his whole life he devotes his life for God, but in the wrong way. And I believe that a lot of people claim that they love God, but in the wrong way. It's like a lot of parents say they love their children, but not in the right way.
So I lost my service here, so probably you guys can hear me.
You driving, Gao?
Yes.
Where you going this time?
Coming back from Los Angeles. So I'm in the mountain again.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
But I think that we did not hear Chris. Yeah, Chris, we did not hear you.
For example, John, we're talking about Israel, right? Many times talking about Israel. Israel, they come, their history come in stage, right? First, it was Abraham, and then after Abraham, that Moses time. After Moses time, then King David. So that's what Christ represents, three different parts of Jewish history. Abraham is a part of promise, and then God give promise to Israel, so they enjoy that, and then later on God give Moses as a law to save them. So that's what they do, try to save by the law. And then later on, God give them a king. And that's what they do. They try to save by listen to the king. And now we are in a grace time that God give a promise, give a law, fulfill the promise, fulfill the law, and also become a king of king also. So it's kind of, is that how can we look at that way? Because Christ does represent three different parts of those Jewish ancestors that God been promised to them.
Well, if you look at it just one way, but in different time period, and God prepared them for the perfect way of salvation to Jesus Christ. You see that even in time of Abraham, he's saved by grace too, by obedience, not by work. Because Abraham, Moses, David all fell by work, by law, they all fell. They all make mistake, but by grace alone that God saved them. Abraham fell. You see that? He did not do everything that God told him. He fell. And look at Moses. Moses also fell. And
Yeah, but
David,
that time is not time of grace, the time of doing their own practice, obedience.
but they still get salvation. You see that if not by grace, how can David get salvation from God? David commit adultery, kill the husband, double sin. How David gets saved is by grace too. God forgive him. Not by work. By the law, David have no chance. But it come to fulfill in Jesus' time. Jesus say, I come to fulfill what God have planned. That's why we believe this way, that when Jesus died, he went to the death place to save everyone who waiting for him. They all go there to wait for Jesus.
Only tonight, tomorrow, then we don't have to do. Okay? Time for you to go back.
Yeah, Nathan.
So, Achan, is there anywhere in the Bible or Testament that it says that David and Abraham or those people die because of, well, they go to heaven because of grace, or we just the way we see it, just
In the Old Testament, did not say anything, but you go to the book of Romans, Paul mentioned that even Abraham saved by obedience, by faith, not by work. Because he obeyed God.
Old Testament people saved by obedience. The New Testament we are saved by grace.
Yeah, if you look it very well, because by the standard of the law, nobody can be saved. But if that's the case, why God give them law? Well, it's just what Jesus said, that it's just a temporary to guide them, but not to save them. Jesus said, I come to fulfill everything that God promised.
Yeah, if that's the case, we cannot say Jewish is not obedient, or Jewish not that, Jewish not this, because God gave a day tool for them to do in only up to certain point, I think, compared to the rest of the nation or other tribe or other kind of people that not even near what Jewish does.
You're right. This is why in the end time, God will save them. And that's because he promised them.
Yeah. I think the only mistake that the Jewish did, not because they are not good enough, it's just because they denied Christ.
You're right. When Christ come to save them, they deny that help.
Yeah, other than that, beyond human ability, Jewish done it all, but only the last thing that they get to the point of they being so proud of themselves, they don't want to be humble to accept the king that have no throne or power in terms of from their point of view.
I think maybe because they're so good and they think that they can save themselves.
That's true. They actually try to do what they want him to do. They frame Christ to react like a human would react.
Yeah.
Is
Okay,
that right?
Nathan.
Achan, I heard that I think about a month or 2 months ago, I heard that there's one famous rabbi died, and after he died, they find out that he wrote on a piece of paper, he recognized that Jesus is the Messiah. If he knew that Jesus is Messiah, why didn't he believe it? Because of the pride of Jewish people.
Well, I think from the beginning that the Jewish people are so prideful, so proud, and they want what they want. And a lot of time, not because they don't know. They just won't accept it, cannot swallow the fact, the truth. They're so prideful. So to the point that they will have to kneel down and
Hey.
accept what God have for them. So at Chris tried to tell us all the time that the Jews know that Jesus is not normal. He is special. He from God, but they cannot accept this kind of Messiah. That's all. Is that disappointment? Okay, I will give you a short break and we come back for another chapter. Okay. Now one of the seven angels come to John and talk to him. Come, I will show you the judgment of the great Herod, who sit on many water. Now who is she? The Bible used the great Herod. It means that a positive woman. And here it means that one of the big city, one of the superpower in the world, and sit on many water. This represent people, a lot of people, million and maybe billion of people, mean that she rule over, she have power over billion of people, whom the king of the earth commit fornication, mean that all the leader of the world follow her, obey her. And all the people in this world worship her, and the Bible used the sense of spiritual fornication, of spiritual adultery. That means that they worship her, and this represents some kind of religion that Satan put on the world. And Babylon represents the capital of the world in those days, the big city. Well, today we think about New York or Washington, D.C. We don't know. In the future, it might be Kremlin or Beijing or China somewhere. We don't know. It's just the capital of the world at those days, that all the government, all the leader will be there. And the Bible used the word Babylon to represent the capital of the world more than 287 times. It's not the original Babylon in Iraq today, but it just represents the symbol of the capital of the world in the future too. So the Herod here just represents the God that people worship in this world in those days. Because the Bible calls that anyone who worship idol or anything else, they are commit adultery spiritually, because God is the real husband, real God, but they worship something else. And here we talk about they sit on many water that represent people, a lot, billion of people that she control. Sit on them mean that she control them. She have power over them. And make them drunk mean that all these people don't know what they're doing. They just believe that all these things that they worship, all this idol can help them. But in fact, the Bible used the word they're drunk. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have the sense. And it means that all these things control them. Now, the angel take John into the wilderness, what he saw. A woman sitting on the scarlet beast, which was full of name of blasphemy. This is another leader who lead the people to fight and against the God, our God. They sit on the beast, mean that one of the Satan leader, right-hand man. And the people worship her with all the gold, precious metal, everything. And people come to worship her. This is represent another God that Satan put in the world for people to worship. And she have power, mean that they can do all kind of miracle. And people believe that because she have power to do a lot of things. And people come to worship this God that Satan put in the world. And this woman drunk with the blood of the saint mean that they kill a lot of believers. All the rest that still believe in Jesus in this world, we will kill. They die for Jesus' name. And the angel asked John, why you wonder, why you surprised? This thing will happen. And all the world will follow her. Mean that all this false God. 10 horn mean that all the 10 king or 10 nations that join together to support this woman. Now it's very interesting. When talk about 10 country or 10 king, they all mean Europe because the Roman come from 10 hill, 10 country or 10 king formed together to make the Holy Roman Empire. And the Herod who sit in that city, they always guess that the future pope that Satan will put there to lure the people to believe that this is from God, but they worship Satan. 7 head, 10 horn. The Rome is sit on the 7 hill. Today, the capital Rome sit on 7 hill. And in the future will come with support by 10 countries, 10 nations in the future. And the beast will come up from hell itself to support, to fight for Satan. And the angel told John that now this is very close to the time of judgment. And the one who don't have their name written in the book of life. And here it said that those are selected before the foundation of the earth, mean that it's not by accident. And we talk a lot about the chosen one, that God already know them and chosen them before everything starts. It's not by accident. So many kings will come and die to fight for Satan. And here we'll talk more about detail. Different kings come in different time from different country. But here it's more like all these countries are in Europe. Well, I even quote here that the European Union. And today you might call them, they also a big part of Europe today. They join together sometimes we call common market or common community or EU, European unity. It's all the children of the ancient Roman Empire. It's nothing new. It came back in 1957 to join together to revive the old Roman Empire. And in the future, Satan will put his follower or his disciple in Rome, in Vatican, and to rule the world, to trick the people to believe that this is from God. And in fact, they worship Satan. Well, this is the end time. And we talk about the war with the soldier die a lot. Now we talk about religious leader now. There are two leaders that Satan put to rule the world. One is we call the great king, who control all the army of the world, or the soldier, billion of soldiers that he command to fight with the army of God. And now this is another leader we call religious leader, the false, the Antichrist, that going to live in Rome. And we believe that one of the future pope that assigned by Satan go to lead all of the people, especially in Europe, to worship Satan himself and fight with all the people who still believe in Jesus until the end. And we don't know, some people say that the new Babylonian might be somewhere in Europe, not in America. So we will see that where the capital of Satan, the new Babylonian, somewhere in Europe. So we have to see. Some people say Rome itself, but we don't know. Somewhere in Europe. And now this is another chapter talk about the war with the religious leader. Last chapter we talk about the war with all the army, soldier, the king of the world that go to fight in Jerusalem, in Israel, in Palestine. So this is two sides of the war, because Satan have two leaders to rule the world in those days. And this is the religious leader that trick the whole world to worship Satan, to support Satan, worshiping. So how you think about the second leader that Satan put to rule the world? The first one is soldier, army. But the second one is about their faith, their mind, their belief, their God. And both of them lie to people, trick people to worship Satan. Now, which one you think is more dangerous? The king that rule the world, or the religious leader who pretend to be Jesus Christ in this world? Both of them have power, can perform miracles. Well, Nathan,
อาจารย์in ที่ around in maybe around 1990 Protestants churches start big how can I that part of Catholic. They start joining with Catholic people, Catholic church. So I don't know why they do that, because knowing that according to history, Protestant was persecuted by Catholic. Now they just go back and join them. I don't know what's the reason.
well, I think they think that that is the best thing to do, because both sides can benefit out of the unity of Christianity. But they don't look all the way to the words of God that Satan will use this thing to destroy believer. They think that this unity will make us stronger. but in fact, they don't know who they join with, who they get in bed with. I think they mean good, but they don't know what they get into. Yeah, Nathan.
That means Protestant people, the pastor, they don't know the history.
Today, you see that a lot of big churches do a lot of weird things that if they know the Bible, why they do all this strange thing. Some people say they don't know. Some people say that they just love the world more than God.
What do you call it?
Some even think that they can make peace on earth by their way. They don't know that Satan's smarter than them. So we will see more in the future that the European country will join closer together to make one nation, big nation. And we might see the Holy Roman Empire come back through those countries.
Is that a Donald Trump is Christian?
Tell me about it.
Well, we don't talk politics
Daddy
here.
need you. Daddy can be sad.
Mhm.
You want that to
So I won't answer that question.
I think at least we need a president who allow us to pray in public square.
Mm. Yeah, it's sad that American politics get away from the church. But you see, we try to separate politics from the church all these years. Do you think that politics can solve the church problem?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the Bible says no way. Satan will trick the church to believe that by using politics we can solve the problem, but it's not the way of God. But in the future, Satan will trick everyone to believe that Satan can do anything. And we believe that, oh, we have peace on earth now. All the nations join together and all religions work together. I don't know, we might live to see all the things that happen in the future. Now, I think we're testing something of disaster that our ancestors never faced before. Do you think the church will revive before all this bad thing happen? Do you think that Christians will be more active? Well, it
John,
should be, yes, for someone,
uh,
yes.
according to Matthew, saying that in the near the end, will not be many believers. Is that meaning that Christian grow cold?
Yeah, majority in general, the church will get cold and most people will not go to church. But the one who left out, a few will be hot at fire, but we're going to be a lot less and less. Yeah, Nathan.
How so and what caused that, Ajahn?
Well, a lot of things. One thing that Satan will trick people to believe that now it's a peace time. We don't need to worry about anything. Prosperity, have fun, enjoy life, relaxing. You know that all over the world, the church gets smaller. People go to church less and less all over the world. Christianity is shrinking. We hope that more people will come to church, but in fact, it's opposite. It just may be some minority group. More people come to know God, but majority, no, it's different story. So what that mean to us? I think we need to work harder.
I question why God allowed like that.
Well, it have to be finished somewhere, somehow. It's not going to go on this way forever. That's why the end time will come. So it means that we cannot stop what will happen, but we can do our best, what we can do. Now we have option, do nothing and try our best. Some people ask me that even we do our best, we're not going to change anything. You're right, but at least we do our part. So you see that don't just look at the final result, but enjoy the process from here until the end. What we have part in it, the process that we can do, that we can be part of it. You know that a lot of people look at the end and say, waste of time. Why bother? But I want all of you to do your best. It doesn't matter what the end will come. Even you cannot change the future, but you can do your part the best you can while you still can. Oh, we did not hear you, Kat.
No, John, I just talked to Farm.
Oh, okay.
We try to talk about we need to do our best.
Yes, you're right. So don't worry about other people, what they want to do or not. We do our part the best we can until the end.
you. Thank you, Ajahn.
Mhm. Yeah, Nathan.
John, I'm really concerned in end time that we will suffer a lot. I afraid that we will lose our faith.
Well, by the grace of God, He protects us. It's not by our own strength, it's by the grace of God. You know that several weeks ago, I heard a preacher from Singapore, a Chinese preacher, talking about Buddhists just go to China 1,000 years ago. And Chinese just start Confucius maybe less than 2,000 years ago. But 4,000 years ago, Chinese worship one God. And Chinese people is son or the children of Shem, Noah's son. After the Babel, they moved to China and they still worship one God for 2,000 years until they take Confucius, they take Buddhists in. But before that, Chinese worship one God for 2,000 years. Wow. You think back that our ancestors know God and keep worshiping God as Noah's descendant, direct descendant of Noah. So you never believe that. Beside the Jew, the Chinese descendants are the longest history and know God for so many thousand years. It's just in the past 1,000 years that they lost their trust in God. So how you believe in that theory that the Chinese worship one God for the past several thousand years in Chinese history?
John, I think less than 2,000 years, probably Chinese still worship the Jesus, isn't it?
Yeah, Chinese worship one God who created the universe. They call the name of God
That's
the God
why
of the universe.
Mian people, when we do the ceremony, something, we have a symbol with the cross.
Yeah.
That I still thinking that our ancestor worship God. Because of that, we have a cross when we do something. Nathan, do you know that, right? Yeah. Like a cross on your forehead.
Mian people call that a Sibuan. That means to call our spirit come
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
To call our
The same
spirit
thing, like
come
I will
back. So
pray,
they put
like
the-
we use Jesus as symbol, like cross.
Use the cross on your forehead.
Yeah, just 1,000 years ago that Chinese changed, but for many thousand years they worship one God.
Why
God
they
who
change?
created-
They change maybe about the Buddhas?
Yeah, because of the leader, just 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, about the when they go to India to
Yeah.
get the Bible of the Buddhists, I think.
Yeah, but before that, Chinese worship one God.
What they call this guy, he's called Tang Sen.
Hmm. So now, so the Chinese just come back to God.
Mhm. They will repent right now.
Yeah. Hmm.
So my question is, how come we cannot preach that Jesus over there in China?
Well, because of the changes in the past hundreds or several years, that the Chinese lost their faith in God, in one God, in Jehovah God. But the ancestor for 2,000-3,000 years worship Jehovah God like the Jew. And that in Chinese history.
John, I think it's still the part of Middle East, the Chinese, they still worship a God like
Yeah.
Jehovah.
Hmm.
Because I see the Chinese people look like a Middle East people in China and close to the Middle East, that part, close to the Russian, that side too.
Yeah, it's very interesting about that history. And they show some Chinese alphabet letter like the alphabet for the word boat have 8 people in that boat. You see that Noah family have 8 people in the boat.
Mhm.
Mm. So Chinese alphabet are 3,000-4,000 years old.
Ajahn, from Noah time up to now, so how many years? 6,000?
Yeah, not more than that, around 6,000.
So every culture have that flood. I think, Ajahn, every we are one God, same God.
Yeah, you're right, because the Chinese history go back that way. Yeah, Chris. We did not hear you.
The calendar of Jesus and calendar of Buddha, they are different. How's that? Is that mean Buddha come before Christ, before the Bible?
No.
How's that?
Jesus just 2,000 years ago, but God and the Jew is 6,000 years old.
How's that compared to Buddha's time?
Abraham born almost 5,000 years ago.
Okay.
So the history of the Jew, if you from Abraham, it's almost 5,000 years. If it's from Noah, it's more than 6,000 years. When Jesus born, the Jew already know God, worship God for 3,000-4,000 years before
Yes.
Jesus' time.
From Noah up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hebrew God is longer than Buddha's teaching.
Oh yes, it 3,000-4,000 years older.
Wow. But they don't actually have a calendar of thing
Oh
like
yes, the Jew have calendar. The calendar is almost 6,000 years now.
wow. How can they keep that up?
Yep, like the Chinese. The Chinese calendar is more than 4,000 years.
Wow.
Yep, Nathan.
And how did Chinese people start counting the calendar? How did they start it?
Well, because they tracked them back to the first Chinese emperor is more than 4,000 years ago. Okay, I will emphasize again that from next week on, you can present your project of the book of Revelation, like sermon or Bible study or whatever project you do by yourself or with your group, you can share from next week on.
How do I do by myself?
You can write a lesson plan, what you're going to teach from that book or that topic from the book of Revelation.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, so you can listen to your friend how they do it.
Okay, have to join a Monday group.
Yeah, you can join any group that they working on the project, so you get some idea.
Okay. Need the website.
I think Kat can send Chris the link of the group. I don't have the link too. And
Chris, you already had the Konsai email, right? He sent you the link already, right?
Yeah, but it was some time ago. I have to go look for it.
Okay.
Paul, can you send it to Chris?
How can you send it? Never done.
You come here. They will have
Okay.
something react or chat. You see under the app, you see the chat. You look at your laptop or your.
Okay, I'll try to send to you later.
Okay, what is my address?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know yet.
You wanna write it down?
Okay.